On January 3, 2009, something extraordinary happened. The world did not notice. There were no press conferences, no global announcements. In the quiet hum of a computer somewhere on our planet, a new form of life was born. It was purely digital. It was made of data and code. At exactly 1815 Universal Time, a single block of data was created. This was not just any block, it was the very first one. Programmers and enthusiasts would later call it Block Zero. But it has another, more powerful name, the Genesis block. It was the beginning of a chain reaction that would ripple across the globe, challenging everything we thought we knew about money, trust, and power. This first block was more than a technical achievement, it contained a secret. Embedded within its code was a hidden message, a digital time capsule for future generations to find. The message was a headline, taken from that day's edition of The Times newspaper in London. It read, "The Times 03 Jan 2009 Chancellor on brink of second bailout for banks." This was not a random choice. It was a statement. It was a deliberate, pointed reference to the financial chaos gripping the world. The creator was not just launching a new technology. They were making a political statement, a declaration of intent. This new creation was a direct response to a failing system. Why embed such a message? Why link this new invention so directly to the financial crisis of 2008? The reason is fundamental to understanding what this technology represents. It was a timestamp, proving the block was created on or after that date. But it was also a mission statement. It declared that the old way of doing things, where powerful central banks and governments controlled money, had led to instability and bailouts. This new system was designed to be different. It was an answer to a question many were asking: is there a better way? Can we build a financial system that does not rely on the same institutions that so often fail us? The creation of this Genesis block was a quiet act of digital rebellion. It was the first shot fired in a revolution that would unfold over the next decade and beyond. It proposed a radical idea. What if we could have a form of money that no single person, company, or government could control? A currency that was secured not by vaults and guards, but by mathematics and the collective power of its users. This was the promise of Bitcoin. A promise of a peer-to-peer electronic cash system, born from the ashes of a global financial meltdown, carrying a message of defiance against the very system it sought to replace. To truly grasp the significance of Bitcoin's birth, we must return to the world of late 2008 and early 2009. It was a time of deep anxiety and uncertainty. The global financial system, a complex web of banks, investments, and loans that we all depended on, was teetering on the brink of a complete collapse. Institutions that were once considered pillars of the economy, names like Lehman Brothers, were crumbling into dust. The crisis spread like a virus, from Wall Street to Main Street, from America to Europe and Asia. People lost their homes, their savings, their jobs. Trust in the system was shattered. The problem was rooted in the very nature of our modern financial world. For centuries, we have relied on trusted intermediaries to handle our money. We put our faith in banks to hold our savings. We trust governments to manage our currencies. We depend on credit card companies to process our payments. These institutions act as the gatekeepers of the economy. They verify transactions, prevent fraud, and maintain the ledger of who owns what. But this trust comes at a price. It gives these institutions immense power. They can charge fees, delay payments, and most critically, they have the authority to freeze or even confiscate assets. In 2008, that trust evaporated. The very banks that were considered too big to fail were failing. We learned that they had taken enormous risks with other people's money, creating a house of cards that was now collapsing. In response, governments stepped in. They printed trillions of dollars, euros, and pounds out of thin air. They used this newly created money to bail out the same institutions that had caused the crisis in the first place. For many ordinary citizens, it felt like a profound betrayal. The rules of the game seemed rigged in favor of the powerful, while everyone else was left to pay the price through inflation and economic hardship. It was into this climate of chaos and disillusionment that Bitcoin emerged. It offered a radical alternative. It was a system built on a different kind of trust. Not trust in politicians or bankers, but trust in mathematics and open-source code. It proposed a system where no one was in charge, where the rules were transparent and could not be changed by a small group of insiders. It was a direct answer to the failures of 2008. Bitcoin was not just a technical invention, it was an ideological one. It was a tool for people who had lost faith in the old system and were searching for something new, something that put power back into the hands of the individual. Every great revolution has its leaders, its faces, its voices. But the Bitcoin revolution began with a ghost. The creator of this groundbreaking technology is known to the world only by a pseudonym, Satoshi Nakamoto. To this day, the true identity of Satoshi remains one of the greatest mysteries of the digital age. Is it a single person? A group of brilliant developers? No one knows for sure. Satoshi communicated with the world through emails and posts on cryptography forums, sharing their vision, refining the code, and guiding the project through its infancy. Then, in 2011, just as their creation was beginning to gain momentum, Satoshi Nakamoto vanished. The mystery of Satoshi is more than just a curious footnote in Bitcoin's history, it is central to its very design and ethos. By remaining anonymous, Satoshi ensured that the project would not have a central leader or a single point of failure. There was no CEO to pressure, no founder to arrest, no figurehead whose personal flaws could undermine the entire system. Bitcoin was designed to be leaderless. It was meant to belong to everyone and no one, all at the same time. Satoshi's anonymity was the ultimate expression of this principle. The creation had to stand on its own, judged by the strength of its code, not the charisma of its creator. Satoshi's writings reveal a person, or people, with a deep understanding of cryptography, computer science, economics, and history. They were able to solve a problem that had stumped computer scientists for decades, the double spending problem. How can you prevent someone from spending the same digital money twice without a central authority like a bank to check the transactions? Satoshi's solution was the blockchain, a brilliant and elegant system that created a public distributed ledger. It was a breakthrough that made a truly peer-to-peer electronic cash system possible for the first time in history. The creator was not just a programmer, they were a visionary. The disappearance of Satoshi Nakamoto left the Bitcoin project in the hands of the community it had created. It forced others to step up, to contribute, to debate, and to build upon the foundation that had been laid. This was perhaps Satoshi's final and greatest gift. By stepping away, they ensured that Bitcoin would evolve as a truly decentralized organism. The mystery fuels endless speculation, but it also reinforces the core idea of the project. Bitcoin is not about one person's vision. It is about a system of rules without rulers, a network that operates on the basis of mathematical proof rather than human authority. At first glance, Bitcoin can seem incredibly complex. It is a world of cryptography, mining, and distributed ledgers. It's easy to get lost in the technical details. But to understand Bitcoin, you really have to look beyond the code. You have to see it as more than just a new technology. Bitcoin represents a fundamental shift in how we think about money itself. It is in fact a new philosophy. For thousands of years, money has been tied to authority. It was issued by kings, emperors, and governments. Its value was guaranteed by the power of the state. We accepted this as the natural order of things. But Bitcoin, well, it challenges this assumption at its very core. It asks a simple but profound question. Does money need a ruler? The answer it provides is a resounding no. Bitcoin is the first successful example of money that is not controlled by any state or corporation. Its rules are defined by software. Its issuance is predictable and transparent, governed by an algorithm that cannot be changed on a whim. There will only ever be 21 million bitcoins created. This absolute scarcity is one of its most important features. Unlike government-issued currencies which can be printed in unlimited quantities, Bitcoin's supply is finite. This makes it a very different kind of asset. This new philosophy also extends to the idea of ownership. When you hold money in a bank account, you do not truly own it in the most direct sense. You have a claim on the bank, an IOU. The bank is the custodian of your funds, and it can restrict your access. With Bitcoin, you can hold your assets directly. If you control the private cryptographic keys to your Bitcoin, no one in the world can take it from you or prevent you from sending it to someone else. It is a form of digital property that you can truly own and control. This is what people mean when they say, be your own bank. It is a level of financial sovereignty that has never been possible before. This philosophy has created a diverse and passionate global community. For some, Bitcoin is a technological experiment. For others, it is an investment, a way to protect their wealth from inflation. But for many, it is a political and social movement. It is a tool for freedom. In countries with oppressive regimes or unstable economies, Bitcoin offers a lifeline. It provides a way to escape currency controls, to protect savings from devaluation, and to transact freely without fear of censorship. It is a system that is open to anyone with an internet connection, regardless of their nationality, background, or beliefs. It is the separation of money and state. So what is this thing that was born in the shadow of a financial crisis, created by an anonymous genius and built on a radical new philosophy? The question seems simple, but the answer is, well, actually pretty complex. Bitcoin is many things to many people. Today, that digital experiment that started with a single block of data has grown into a global network with a market value that has surpassed $1 trillion at its peak. It has created millionaires overnight and honestly has also destroyed fortunes just as quickly. It is an asset that has been banned by some of the world's most powerful governments, yet embraced by some of its largest corporations. Is Bitcoin money? It can be used to buy goods and services, from a cup of coffee to a new car, yet its price can swing wildly from one day to the next, making it difficult to use for everyday payments. Is it a commodity like digital gold? Many investors treat it as such. They buy it and hold it as a long-term store of value, a hedge against the uncertainty of the traditional financial world. Its fixed supply of 21 million coins makes it an attractive alternative to assets like gold, which has also been used as a safe haven for centuries. It is scarce, durable, and easily transferable across the globe. Is it a technology platform? The blockchain, the underlying technology that powers Bitcoin, has inspired thousands of other projects and innovations. It has shown that we can build decentralized systems that are secure and transparent without needing a central authority. This has implications far beyond finance, potentially transforming everything from voting systems to supply chain management and digital identity. Bitcoin is not just a currency, it is the blueprint for a new kind of internet, an internet of value, where we can transfer ownership as easily as we share information today. Ultimately, Bitcoin is a story still being written. It is a story of cryptography and economics, of idealism and greed. It is the story of a technology that promised to change everything and just might. It has been called a bubble, a fraud, a Ponzi scheme, and the future of money. But one thing is certain, it can no longer be ignored. It has survived every prediction of its demise, growing stronger and more resilient with each challenge it overcomes. This is the story of the digital revolution, a revolution that began with a single line of text hidden inside a block of code, challenging the world to rethink the very nature of money. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to Lucida. Let us know in the comments what other topics or stories you'd like to see us cover next.